Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Still delighted to be joined in the studio by His Excellency Ambassador Medhat Meligy, the former Assistant Foreign Minister, our guest for this evening's edition of the Daily Debate. Once again, it's a pleasure to have you with us, Mr. Ambassador. And just before the break, we were talking about a very important issue regarding the latest escalations and developments that we all witnessed yesterday. You were going to say that this is a critical time for these escalations.
It is actually. It gives many messages, especially from the Israeli side. First of all, that it will not stop at any point. It is not just Hamas, it is not just Gaza, but we are ready to go anywhere in
Across
the world
any
to
borders.
Kill Hamas, although kill any militants of Hamas. Although this is a clear and direct breach to the international law. Lebanon is a country, sovereign country, and we are going to see very soon the repercussion of such a thing, because we understand that Hezbollah, and of course who is supported by Iran, will have to say something about this, because at the beginning they were actually reluctant to get involved with anything, and we've heard many officials of Iran saying that Hamas did not coordinate with us about the strikes of the 7th of October, so accordingly we are not going to be implicated or involved in anything else. But now the situation has become on the Lebanese soil, and the Israelis are showing to the whole world that we do not care at all about either international law or the sovereignty of countries or anything. We are just going to hit wherever we want to hit.
And
who we consider terrorists, we are going to hit them. But this is actually, this is a very dangerous thing, because at the same time that they are giving themselves this right, they are also indirectly giving the same right to others, which means that they are giving also any Palestinian resistance the right to kill any Israelis
in any country.
Since not just in any country, even in Israel, since you declare that you have the right to kill any terrorist, and since we consider you that you committed crimes and war crimes, we have the right also to eliminate you just like you did before. So the Israeli law that they applied now can really hurt them and harm them. But let's hope that we will not reach that point, and that Lebanon can contain the situation. We hope it can be contained, although that the strike and the blow was a very strong one, and we believe that Hezbollah will not stand still, but we don't know exactly so far the extent of the reaction of Hezbollah. I believe that it's going to be maybe precision strikes to certain areas and certain targets in northern Israel.
Which they are capable of.
Which they are capable of, but I don't think that they want to go to a full-scale war with the Israelis right now. It is not recommended from Lebanon or from the Arab world and the Middle East. We don't want to escalate the situation. We're trying to calm the situation. So this is one thing. But it's very important to understand that what happened here opens a big door to escalation that we don't want in the region, which shows actually that Israel is not yet ready for any kind of peace talks, or even the Egyptian initiatives we spoke about, because this is a clear, direct and clear blow
breach of,
to the initiative of Egypt. I mean, you cannot, after doing this and then ask for it doesn't work this way. So unfortunately, we think that this strike is one of the other messages, is that we are not ready for peace or to calm anything. And actually the indiscriminate shelling of Gaza shows that even they don't care about their own hostages there. We've heard before that they killed many hostages during their strikes, that unfortunately they got killed in Hamas prisons. But at the same time, even 2 weeks ago, we heard about killing 3 of their own hostages who were released, and they didn't even want to listen to them, and they shot them dead. So this shows to which point the shooting is indiscriminate in Gaza Strip. Even
against their own
people.
Indeed. And the break, we were discussing an important issue. Of course, ever since the escalation in the Gaza Strip, President Sisi has received many phone calls and visits from different various world leaders and officials, etc. How do you see these presidential activities reflecting Egyptian's strategic role with regards to this issue? And how do you see the Egyptian response when it came to the issue of displacing the Palestinian people off their land, letting them cross the borders?
Well, first of all, concerning the connections and the contacts that Egypt is leading, if we notice, we'll find that its contacts are not really direct with Israel, although it's possible, and we have contacts with Israel, but mainly with other countries that are supporting Israel, because this is where the pressure is going to come from.
Yes.
Let us remember that the Europeans or the Americans value very much the public opinion. And right now, the public opinion, even in the United States, is rising towards condemning Israel for the atrocities it's committing right now.
Yes.
So we rely on this pressure, internal pressure in the Western countries, in order to force their government to exert a real pressure on Israel to abide by the international law and stop the killing of the indiscriminate killing of the Palestinians and the war crimes it's committing there. So this is one of the most important things. That's why our contacts are mainly directed with the Americans. As today, I think we have an American delegation, and President Sisi met them. And I believe that with all the foreign delegations and phone calls that the President Sisi is exchanging, and even the Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Sameh Shukri, is exchanging with various contacts, we are trying to pressure those countries to exert real force on Israel to abide by the law. This is the only strategy that we can follow right now, since Israel doesn't want to listen, as I said, to the voice of reason.
Absolutely. And you're speaking about the issue of internal displacement, which is a very dangerous issue now.
This is very dangerous, and also it moves the war to a second level or a higher level. If you remember, just yesterday, Prime Minister Netanyahu said that he will not allow the Palestinians to go back to the northern part of Gaza, which means that effectively he is planning to occupy once again the northern of Gaza, and squeezing the Palestinians in, although they were already in one of the most dense part of the world, to be even double density with their presence in the south only and not in the north. And I think that once again, we've heard before President Biden say that the forced movement, forced displacement of Palestinian is not going to be accepted by the American administration. We hope that he will put some strength on this, so that Israel would not really continue with its plans of moving the Palestinians, whether to the southern part of Gaza or even to other countries, which, as you know, they have an illusion of moving those Palestinians towards Egypt and towards Jordan. And both the President and the King both have said that this is not even negotiable or on the table to be negotiated. This is out of the question. Although we still hear from many, unfortunately, Israeli officials the same illusion that we have to push them towards Egypt, and especially Egypt, because now the situation, or the most dangerous part for them is Gaza and not the West Bank. But so accordingly, they want to push them towards Egypt. We've been very clear, the idea is not about receiving more refugees. We have already refugees, and we don't mind having more refugees.
We don't even call them that. We call them guests. Or,
exactly. So if it was just to receive more refugees, we can do that. But the idea is that this would mean the liquidation of the Palestinian cause. And this is a price that Egypt and the international community is not ready to pay. And nobody is supporting Israel about breaking once more the international law by moving and forcibly displacing those Palestinians elsewhere. So those are two very delicate issues regarding the strategy of the Israeli government. On another point, which is very important, very crucial, the Israeli government has, according to many, even Israeli observers, have failed. And it failed to protect its own citizens the 7th of October. And thus, this government needs to find any kind of victory in order to stay in power. Because the minute this war is going to stop, this government is going to fall. And in order to stay, they have to keep this war going on. However, the Israeli public is not accepting that. All what they want is that to get back their own hostages who are in Hamas prisons. And we could just say simply with a clear conscience that Prime Minister Netanyahu is playing for his own political future and for his own ego, is even playing with the Israelis themselves, his own opinion. So this leads us to one thing. I mean, if he doesn't care much, Mr. Netanyahu, about his own population, do you think he would care about other initiatives or even the United States opinion?
Far from it.
He will only listen in one situation when he feels that the arms that he's supposed to get is not coming anymore. This is the only point where he will feel that he's compelled to accept a ceasefire and restore peace in the Gaza Strip.
Do you see this as coming anytime soon, Your Excellency?
Well, you have to ask an American this question.
Yes. But I mean, from your reading of the situation,
well, I think at
their
a certain
response
point,
is changing to a certain
At a certain point, the Americans will have to play this. So far, we are sure that the Americans are fully supporting Israel. The supply of arms is not ending. The political support is still there. And I believe that at the end, at one moment, when the pressure will mount to a point where the United States cannot take it anymore, especially internationally, because it's not just about Israel, it's about other pertinent issues related to the credibility of the United States worldwide. At this point, the United States will draw a red line to Israel. When will this happen? We hope very soon.
Indeed. Leading me to my next question, if this doesn't happen soon enough, how critical do you see the situation in the region? As you said, it's very charged. The whole region is affected, whether it's the west, the east, the south. Even Yemen has, we've seen Houthi attacks in the Red Sea from Yemen. It's far-reaching and not ending. How volatile can the situation reach, in your opinion?
Well, of course, it can escalate to all directions. I mean, we've seen already that they are attacking Lebanon, a sovereign country, a member of the United Nations. I don't see it impossible that they try to attack the Houthis in Yemen, and trying to push the Palestinians in Egypt, which will escalate the situation with us here in Egypt. I mean, the situation, I mean, you name it. I mean, as long as Israel is continuing its war crime, and I'm not ashamed to call it this way, because this is what it is actually.
Absolutely.
It's a war crime. As long as it is committing these atrocities and continuing with it, then the whole situation becomes volatile in the whole region. And not just that, actually. At a certain point, we will have to take measures to secure our own borders. And this would mean that we can be in direct confrontation with the Israelis, which is something ever since our peace talks and our peace treaty, we don't want to see it happening.
Absolutely.
So the idea that Israel will stop at a certain point, because they have to stop, and they have to understand that this is harming the Israeli people more than anyone else now. I mean, we are talking about mounting pressure in Israel to get their own hostages. On the other hand, with the last strike they did in Lebanon on several Hamas militants, we reach a point where now Hamas is saying that they have pended the negotiations with the Israeli side, even through Egyptians or Qataris or any other mediation, because they don't want to continue with a country and a state that is continuing its atrocities and violation to international law.
Absolutely. I'm afraid we have run out of time, and rather quickly, but I'd like to thank you very, very much, Your Excellency Ambassador Medhat Meligy, the former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you very much, sir, for your time and for your insight and for joining us this evening on the Daily Debate. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have for today's edition of the show. We do hope you have enjoyed it. You're in the company of myself and Meher. Thank you for watching.